Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Korean Atlanta Mentorship. In this video, we're going to review Velocity Banking as a real estate investor. And if you don't know what Velocity Banking is, all it is a debt payoff strategy using lines of credit as your main tool. And it's really common if you have real estate that you probably have debt on it, right? What's funny is that if you invest in things like stocks, banks, I don't think ever lend you on that. In fact, I think if we went to Wells Fargo and asked, the people at Wells Fargo, can I borrow money um, to borrow money to invest in Wells Fargo stock? They would act like you're crazy. But with real estate, it's very common to borrow money, and so what we're gonna do is try to pay off our debt, all of our debt, using lines of credit as our main tool. Now, let's assume in this scenario that we have a $6,000 W-2 income, right? $6,000. So that's approximately $100,000 a year. So this is after tax. And let's assume that we have one rental property. So we have one mortgage here. We'll assume that the 3% one is our personal residence. We bought it at the right time when mortgage rates were still low. And then we have our investment mortgage, which is around 8%. Now, here's the secret with when it comes to rental properties. The easiest way to build wealth is to buy it at a discount. So if you can see right here, this property was bought on 2022, right? 2022, and at 210 at the peak of the market, and we got a $100,000 discount, right? So always buy at a discount in a nice area, and you'll pretty much create immediate wealth. And that's what we're going to assume that we've done here. So let's assume that for this investment property, that we have a $2,000 a month rental income. Now, what we're going to do is always put the net income just to make things easier. So, what's the quick formula to calculate the net income is just assume that the net income is 70% of that monthly income. So, let's say the tenant in our rental property gets about $2,000 a month. Okay, so all it is just additional income here and then knowing which debts to pay off. Now, let's calculate how we would do things the average American way. So B2 plus, whoopsie, plus B3 minus B4, right? Now, here's the thing. When it comes to rental properties, I'm going to say this. Um, don't depend on that rental income. So if for whatever reason that tenant doesn't pay, let's say this is zero, right? Guess what happens here? You at least you can survive without that rental income. But man, if you receiving that rental income is like going to be the difference between you eating and not eating, I definitely would not actually recommend going to rental properties because let's say like you have an unexpected expense like the furnace blows out, that could be 15 to 20 grand, right? I don't think it's that much. I've never had a furnace blown out on me, but I've heard it's quite expensive. So if you can't live without the tenant's income, right? I would say just don't do it. You know what I mean? Or maybe you'll prove me wrong. All right, so let's all right. So we'll assume that with this person's situation, there are a lot of people out there who have pretty decent jobs and go into rental properties, and the only rental I'm sorry, most of the time when you hear about rental property benefits, like people always talk about cash flow, but there are other benefits too, like depreciation, which is a tax benefit or a tax deduction. Appreciation, your tenant, um, as the tenant's paying the rent, your house probably will go up in value, and also the mortgage payoff. So there's a lot of things that rental property is doing for you that's not necessarily related to cash flow. But if you want to talk about tax benefits, always talk to an accountant. Okay. Now, what is the difference between the average American and the Velocity Banker? Well, the average American uses their checking account as their main operating account, and all we're going to do is just make a few tweaks so that our line of credit is our main operating account. Okay? Now, here's the other thing, too. We assume the same income, but we're also going to do this no savings. No savings. And this is the part that freaks people out that their mind will blow up, if that's the right word. Their mind will be blown because if you go anywhere on the internet, they always tell you have to have 3 to 6 months of savings in emergency funds or something like that, right? Now let's go ahead and calculate. Actually, let's go ahead and select our line of credit as our main operating account. So let's go ahead and select that. And what's our main operating account? We'll just assume we have a, maybe, I don't know, $100,000 HELOC. We don't even have to have a $100,000 HELOC, do we? Well, let's just say 50,000. We'll say a $50,000. What am I doing here? Must have gone crazy. All right, $50,000 home equity line of credit. So basically think of this as a credit card based on the value of your house. If you have something called equity, which is the estimated purchase price minus the outstanding loans on that home, then you're able to borrow against it, kind of like in the form of a credit card. And in many ways, it's better than credit cards because you can use it to pay anything. Like a credit card, you can't use it to pay another credit card unless you do a balance transfer, and you can't use it to pay an auto loan, mortgage. So that line of credit, home equity line of credit, is going to be our main tool. Okay, and so let's just go ahead and do this and re-engineer expenses. So let's assume that this $22,000 in credit card debt, we're going to move to that home equity line of credit. So let's just do this, 22,000. Okay. Now, what happens here? Well, guess what? These two go to zero, right? And now let's go ahead and recalculate. Recalculate our cash flow. So it's going to be C2 plus C3 minus C4. Let's do minus C4. So you're going to add up your income, subtract your expenses, and bam, the cash flow went from 1,800 to 2,600. Pretty cool, right? All right. So now let's go ahead and do this. All right. So now we've done this. Now what we got to do is just pay off this 22 grand in our home equity line of credit. And so what's the actual velocity banking strategy? It's all this income dumped into your line of credit and then expenses out, and you should see this go down by 2,600. So let's see how long it takes us. So what we're going to do is we're going to dump all that income, take our expenses out, and next month's balance will be approximately shrinking by this number, which is our cash flow number. And to get the next month's balance, it's the previous month's balance plus the previous month's interest minus 2638.54, which is our cash flow number. Okay. And now let's go ahead and let's take the average of these two numbers to get the average daily balance, which is how the interest is calculated, multiply by 0.1, which is the interest rate on my HELOC, at least. I've heard some people have a much better interest rate, but let's go with that. And then let's just go ahead and pay this off. We just copy and paste, right? Copy and paste. And now you can see it took us 9 months to pay off that 22 grand, 9 months, 22K, 9 months. And let's write that as our milestone for these two credit cards. Now, we have an auto loan, a mortgage, and another mortgage. Which one are we going to focus on paying off? Well, there's two ways, and actually let me write our goal here. How much of our debt are we going to pay off? So it's 10 plus 12 plus 21 plus 200 plus 210. So we're going to pay off 453K of debt, right? So now we have these three other loans. Which one do we pay off first? There's actually ways to figure out which debt to pay off first. There's the general debt payoff criteria or the cash flow index model. I'm going to skip the debt payoff criteria for now. Let's just head on over and use the cash flow index. But basically all it is a formula of the balance of the loan divided by the payment. Okay? And let's go ahead and calculate the cash flow index number. And I actually got to figure out what the loan balance is after 9 months. So bear with me here. So after 9 months, okay. All right, and then I just got to fill in the blanks, 200,000 at 30 years, and then we'll say 3%, which is a personal mortgage. And then this is going to be at 9 months. So 196,000. Alrighty then. And then we're going to go right here. And then after 9 months of our auto loan, which is 21,000 at 5 years at 3%. All right. So now, what are we going to do? So 9 months. All right, so let's go ahead and calculate that cash flow index. Like I said, it's the statement balance 18047.01 divided by the monthly payment 377.34. This one equals 196,880.06. Oopsie. Divided by 843.21. And then this one is 208,697.5 divided by 1540.91. Okay, so basically think of this as a ranking system. The lower the number, that's the one you want to pay off first, because it's like, hey, would you pay off 18 grand to get 300 back? Or would you pay 200 or $196,000 to get $800 back? Same with this one too, right? So let's go ahead and pay this off. Heck, let's just move the entire thing to a line of credit. Make our life easy, put our entire paycheck, free this cash flow. Let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to just go ahead and move this to our line of credit right here, right? And then bam, and let's go ahead and do that. All right, and then now we got to update our cash flow, because once this is paid off, now our cash flow is $3,000. So 3015.88. So let's go here. So let's go ahead and here put here 3015.88. Okay, and then let's see how long it takes us to pay it off, which is 15 months. So 15 months to pay off this auto loan. So that's going to be 43K. So 43K, and then 9 months plus how many months? 15 months. So it's going to be 15 months. And then now, based on the cash flow index model, I'm going to go with the next lowest one, which is 135.44. Now, these numbers have meanings, which I'm not going to go into too much right now. But if it's over 100, that's what they call an inefficient loan, meaning that you don't get too much bang for your buck for paying this off. But what's really important when we do pay this off, right, is that we should pay it off early, because if you've ever seen how much interest you pay on a 30-year loan for 8%, it's more than 100. It's almost like 200. I think it's like 160. I had to check. Let's just check right now. So if I have a $100,000 30-year loan at 8%, let's see how much interest I pay. Yeah, 164%, right? So luckily we have this Velocity Banking calculator, I'm sorry, I can't even pronounce anything, by Renatus, which I'm a student of, and I learned real estate investing, Velocity Banking from here, and that's where I learned how to buy rental property at discount too. And I'm actually an independent contracted marketer, which means I just make commission on selling their products. But why am I saying this? I have no idea, because I'm just going to use that calculator to show what we're going to do with these amortized loans and how long it's going to take to pay this all off, right? So let's go ahead and figure out at month 15 what the balance of this 8% loan is. So let's go ahead and 200,000 at 30 years at 8%, and then month 210. And so month 15 is 207. Okay, so let's go ahead and remember that. And all right, so now it's 207, right? So now what we do is just plug that information into the Velocity Banking calculator, and then the original balance is 210, the current balance is 207. The interest rate is 8%, 30 years, and what's the payment amount? It is 1540.91. 1540.91. And then this is how much we move to that line of credit. Now, when you have a line of credit that's at a higher interest or higher interest rate to a loan that's a lower interest rate, you honestly don't have to move that much. Just move the amount that's like close to your paycheck, and you could play around with this if you do get access to a calculator, but it's only for students. But now let me go ahead and just say we'll just move $10,000 to the line of credit. At what interest rate? I don't know. 10% because that was a home equity line of credit. Yeah, I'm totally getting delirious because it's late right now, but it's okay. We'll get through this. All right, so now what's our income? It's these two right here, so it's 7,400, right? 7,400. And what's our monthly expenses? Everything except for the loan we're trying to pay. So it's these two right here. So 2843.21, mortgage one and other. 2843.21. 2843.21. Okay, so as you can see here, paying off your rental property is only going to take 4.6 years. 4.6 years, right? So now, bam, this goes to zero. And then how much is 4.6 years in months? Or just 15 divided by 12 plus 4.6. All right, 5.85 years. So 5.85 years to have our rental property paid off. And that's 43 plus, so that's 253K. Okay. At 5.85 years, right? 253K at 5.85 years. Amazing. Now, at this point, we're going to decide, all right, we're going to pay off our personal mortgage or just get another rental property, right? And if we're going to get another rental property, always buy at a discount, right? Always buy at a discount. Easiest way to buy at a discount is find someone who's distressed and help them out. And they'll trade equity for a peace of mind, right? You're going to make like 100 offers and only one will get accepted because it's not common for people to sell at a discount. But when you're able to help people and they need and they're distressed, yeah, they'll sell at a discount. All right, so now let's just do this. So it's basically the same idea, right? And all you got to do is for every new rental property that you get, you just add to this income, right? So this is another plus 1,400, $2,000 times, that net income. And then you could see on the next house, now you paid 3 years. And then you do it again, right? So plus 1,400. Oh my goodness, 2.7. You have 3 paid off houses. Man, you're retired. You know what I mean? You're good. Now, let's just assume to end this demo that we're going to focus on paying off this mortgage, right? So, $200,000 at 3%, 200,000 at 3%. And then where did I go? So now what month are we on? We are on month number, where are we? 5.85 years? Where's 5.85 years? Hold on. 5.85 multiplied by 12. Oh, that's 70 months. We'll say 71 months. Let's go to 71. 71, 173. Okay. Now let's see how long it'll take to pay this off. Now we just got to redo the calculator again. This is now going to be 200,000. I'm going to put all this. Okay. And then this is going to be I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just joking. What am I doing? All right. So now 843.21 at 3%. 843.21. And now this one is just 2,000 because it's all of our expenses except for the debt we're trying to pay off. And then as you can see, take a look here, it's only going to take 2.9 years to pay off our personal loan or our personal mortgage, right? So 5.85 plus 2.9. Wow, 8.75 years. So 8.75 years. And we've paid off 453K of debt. Can you believe that? That's crazy. Like, it's such a crazy snowball effect that we have. You know what I mean? And so if we go back here, you can kind of see if you're into making these complicated schedules that this is how it would work when you plug in the numbers on the back end. And so, oh, okay. So, but how do you feel now? We paid off $453,000. So we paid off two rental houses and our auto loan and two credit cards in about 8.75 years. That's crazy. I mean, what if I started this when I was like, I don't know, a college graduate, right? A college graduate, got my first rental property, and then by the time I'm like, I don't know, 27, 28, I'd have two F paid off homes, and then I could live anywhere I want. And I could probably even make my personal home into a rental property, right? That'd be even crazier. Then we're like super cash flowing, right? Okay, well, this is Velocity Banking for real estate investors. Hope you had this was hope this was insightful. Have a great day, and we will speak next time.